Welcome everybody. Hello, Pete.
What's going on? Hey, Adam.
I don't. Hey, Peter. I don't know what's going on. What is going on?
Well, we're doing a live talk show. Are you going to say anything else? Are you done?
No,
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm Adam Annis.
Well, and I'm Peter Martin. And we need a third party to play.
I know.
Come in here, Andrew. What's up, Adam? This is our, we had a little test the other day. This is our first official You'll Hear It live, as it were.
Yeah.
Live talk show, live call-in show. Text 312-585-6810 to be on the show.
Now, when you say be on the show, is this going to be like a Frasier situation?
No
where people are going to text us and that we're going to put their messages on screen? What does that mean, be on the show?
No. If you come on the show, you're going to be on the show. You're going to be an equal, like we're going to make room for you. I don't know if it's going to be that, if it's going to be that, bam, bam. But something's going to happen, and then you're going to be on the show. Actually, Winston, our friend from New Jersey, Winston, came on the other day. I did a little test. I don't know if you knew about that. You were busy. Actually, I couldn't find your number. You didn't text in, but Winston did. But we can bring you on to ask questions. We're going to try to do 30 minutes every day, Monday through Friday. You'll hear it live right here where you're finding this on YouTube or Facebook, wherever it ends up. Well, it's both places now. And
Wait. Back up. We're going to do 30 minutes, Monday through Friday. At this time?
5 p.m. Eastern. I mean, that's the plan, man. I mean, we're willing, if people say this sucks, we're not going to do it. But barring a disaster, if the live format makes you nervous, I know you've been doing a lot of lives though, so it should.
I'm essentially living my life live streamed, so
Yeah.
This is nothing to me. I would probably be live anyway. So what are we going to talk about on our daily You'll Hear It Live? What are we going to do?
Well, what I was thinking, and I believe what I very hurriedly put in the description before we started here was music advice. I mean, everything we do on the podcast,
Okay.
music
All right.
advice, jazz advice, piano advice, improvisational advice. I said occasional humor because I don't want to box this in, because we're not always funny. Let's be honest, occasional humor. So we don't want to oversell it. We don't want to oversell and under deliver. We just want to straight up under deliver if possible.
Dude, here's how cutthroat our audience is. We literally just announced we're going to be doing 5 days a week, and Nick said no weekends. Come on.
Man, let's see if we can make it for the next 30 minutes, man. But we thought it'd be kind of fun because we were looking for something, we've been doing the Instagram on Saturdays, and we've been getting some folks, a kind of smaller audience. I think people are starting to be outdoors. It's nicer. Some of the restrictions are lifting, which is good. And, you've got a family, I've got a family. The weekends have been, we'll try to keep those up. But this is kind of,
Where? Oh.
Yeah, well, we thought.
Those little people.
Look, I'm just starting our things. But the idea with this would be a little bit more during the week, kind of help everybody. Look, we're not calling this a happy hour because, well, maybe we will call it a happy hour. But the idea is it's kind of a little bit of a pause before we maybe make our last push of as far as work or playing in the evening or whatever it is. But just kind of a check-in, a take a breath. Everybody's been working hard. Certainly at Open Studio, we've both been working hard separately. And, it's a nice time of day, hopefully, to get together with our listeners and our community at large.
Man, so can I kick things off musically here? Because I have
Yes.
I don't know if everybody knows this. We have some people on here that have participated and are regular participants in our daily guided practice session that I host every day at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Again, Monday through Friday over at openstudiojazz.com. We've been working on...
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. You're going to hear a lot of it. We've been working on the coolest thing for the last 2 weeks. And it's this system. I didn't invent this system, but I kind of stumbled upon it a couple of years ago. And you probably don't even know it, although it's one of those things, like everything we talk about, like music theory-wise, I'm going to say this, you're going to be like, never heard of it, and then you do all of it just naturally, which is annoying and frustrating. But we're going to start the show out with some double nerd going on here. It's this
Doppio
nerd.
Let's do it.
It's this voicing system where you can play any note on the top of your voicing on a pentatonic scale, and you get these great voicings, right? So we're
Never
going to
heard of
start
it.
straight away with music advice because this has just been on the top of my mind. We've been going over it so much. Oh, but you can't hear the piano on the StreamYard.
Oh, come on. But I can hear it here.
Oh, okay. I'll bring in a PDF tomorrow.
There we go.
Be,
Well, this is the thing. You might not be able to hear the piano, but you can see this, can't you? What?
Oh, that's
Oh,
right. We
hello.
can share screens. You know
Hello.
what, dude? Actually, Peter,
Oh, he's ready to go next level. It's a 30-minute show. Don't go too next
It's a
level.
30-minute. No, but I can at least, I can't play what I'm talking about, but I can at least demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
Is that even legal?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So check it out. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Oh, I can't believe we get to do this. This is so much fun. Why have we not done this earlier?
Exactly.
This is the best.
You're welcome.
All right, check it out. This is from the very first day we did this.
Whoa.
So check out this voicing structure, right? So this is, oh, you can play it.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. You'll hear it. This is C minor 7. Now, Peter, just play the notes of that first chord, but play them starting on C and then just kind of go up the notes like that are involved. What is that? You know what that is? It's a
So what?
pentatonic scale. It's all the notes in a C minor pentatonic scale.
Indeed it
Right?
is.
And
Indeed.
so if you check out that first voicing and then you just move everything up the C pentatonic scale, you get these voicings. And they're all super solid. Isn't that dope?
Yes, that's awesome.
They all sound good. I mean, they're all like things that we all play but I never thought about this until not embarrassingly recently, that this is just the pentatonic scale broken up into chords. And if you just move them up the pentatonic scale, you get these awesome voicings. Anyway, that's what we've been working on.
It's awesome. And how's the response been? Angry?
No,
Or-
no,
not
everybody's
angry.
been actually super stoked. You know, I discovered this because I was tired of having limited melodic possibilities in my voicings. I was tired of clashing with singers or horn players when I didn't want to. Like, I wish I could just play melodies around them at will. And so I kind of just stumbled upon this on my own and then found out it was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And once you start to be able to play like even just pentatonic melodies, which you can with this, I mean, it does wonders. And they're reusable. Like the C minor 7 one can be your E flat major 6/9, right? It's the same. Those are the same voicings. It could
Right.
be, your A flat major 7. Like there could be an F minor 9. Like all of these work just like a pentatonic scale. Whatever chord you would play the pentatonic scale over, you can build voicings out of this system. Anyway, nerd alert.
Me likey.
Nerd alert.
No, I like it. Well, I always love it when, we find stuff that we maybe play or we hear, or even that we hear others do, but we hear it, you'll hear it,
Oh yeah.
but we come back around to it with kind of a logical, it's like the other, I can't remember if it's right brain, left brain, frontal cortex. I know so much about the brain, I can't even keep it straight. But, when we start to sort of pattern recognize and apply a little bit of math to it after the fact, and then it's like, wow, therein lies the symmetry to that voicing or to that improv or to that melody.
sure.
I love it. I love coming in that direction.
Yeah, and then once you kind of like uncover some of the math behind it or some of the logic behind it, then it doesn't actually do you any good for playing it, right? That's
Right.
the kind of the irony of it. Like it doesn't
No.
make you play it better at all. But what it does is if you feel like figuring some more stuff out, kind of go deeper on it, seeing if you can make it your own, just really getting around it and getting into the music, you can do that.
Yeah. Well, but I do think that, if you do truly hear it first on some level, that understanding the math or pattern recognition of it does help, kind of institutionalize it in the way that you're playing, or at least have the possibility for it as you incorporate it into music, as you incorporate it into different actual playing situations. It's just like looking at the map in a different, you look at a map one way, or you look at the globe, and you're like, wow, this is how you get from here to there. And then you turn it upside down and you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense, but you're going the same place. And then when it starts to make sense, but in a different way, it can kind of give you more confidence because it's another way of learning, another way of looking at it, ultimately another way of coming back to hear it differently.
But one thing we should make a point on that we try to make a point on when we're practicing even these voicings or whatever, how you play them is just as important as what you're playing, if not
Right.
more important.
That's right.
So we already have some questions here. How about one?
We have some questions, but we want you to text in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're going to answer Bill. That's our friend. But we want you to text the number, which you want to put it back up again? Well, we showed it enough. You should have had it.
Yeah, here's the number. If you want to text this, you can actually come on the show with us.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah, and we will be kind. We will be gentle. Someone said that we look like Fantasy Island. Hold up, we got to throw that up again because this is a fun show.
Please don't.
They said we look like Fantasy Island.
Oh, boy.
You know, look, if somebody comes on, every time somebody comes on, we're going to show another picture from this photo
Damn
shoot.
it.
This is one of the most innocent ones, right?
Well,
there's
there's a story behind. Put that back up. There's a story behind that photo shoot. Do you remember this?
No.
I had a gig where they requested. Oh, now you're putting everything back up.
Sorry.
I had who gave this guy control?
Okay.
I had a
here
gig where it was supposed to be a whiteout gig, right? Wear all white. So I had to go buy like white chinos down here, like the
Right.
white khakis. I didn't have anything white. I had a white dress shirt. That was it. And then you came in and like those are actually gray jeans you're wearing and like a white linen. I don't even think this was planned. I think we were just
Right.
randomly all white one day.
No. I got so excited when I saw it. I was like, dude, I think I have that exact same outfit. I think I went home and got it and said, we got to do a photo shoot. Come on, man. Because we are serious 24 hours a day here
Oh
at
yeah,
the studio.
obviously.
And look, the background, it's right here. We were set up at the same place here.
All right, get it off. Get it off.
Okay. The clothes? No, we're leaving them on. Wait, how do I get it off? Okay.
Oh no.
We,
All right.
no.
So if you do want to be on the show, text this number here. But we are going to hide it for a second because we're going to put up a question. We
Apparently,
are
we're
taking,
gonna have to beg to get. Oh, maybe I'm looking at the wrong place here. Oh, there's 400. No, that's it. And tell us your name if you want. You don't even have to. Like Winston came on. Where you at, Winston? Okay.
So Bill says, question: are you guys seeing signs that gigs may be returning soon?
Yes.
Good question.
Yeah. So for a while, I had some offers, or just really, it was probably more rescheduling. Now that I'm thinking of it, there was a bunch of stuff in 2021, and I was kind of like, "Well, that's great. That's a ways off, but that's probably realistic, without it having being realistic again. I mean, rescheduled again." But I've got the nearest thing that I called that seemed like a serious thing was a tour in October, and I was excited about that. I was like, "Wow, gigs." But then I was a little scared too, because I just still can't see exactly how it's going to look. So I'm hopeful about that, and I do think some small scale gigs can happen very soon. I mean, with very limited audiences, and if I think it's a matter of if the audience is up for that, and I know the performers, there's a lot of pent up desire to play. So if there's a way that between the presenters, the promoters, the artists, and be it at a club or a venue, that it can make sense. I mean, I kind of look at it like how are these restaurants, especially the ones with really high overheads, going to be able to open when they can only have 25%, as they should, of their seating capacity, when before they were really close margins? Are they going to raise the prices? Are people going to, I just don't know. But if that can be figured out, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
What are you seeing?
I haven't seen any signs that actual gigs are coming back or concerts are coming back, unfortunately. I think it's like everything else. It's like kind of what you just said. Like once it kind of starts, it's going to happen fast. It's been opening up a little bit. Like I've done a couple of socially distant recording sessions, it's actually easy to do. Was at Shock City on Monday. They're taking your temperature. You know what I mean? Everybody's in separate rooms,
Right.
ISO booths and stuff. It works, but
Yeah.
as far as we talked about before, as far as being in Thurmans,
Yeah, that's gonna be
shoulder to shoulder with 50 people sweating and
Yeah.
just drinking, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen.
Yeah. Drinking, but not in an enclosed space.
Yeah.
So also, I think maybe over the summer, there could be some outdoor gigs. It feels like everybody feels safer and that there's actual science behind just outdoor eating, outdoor. Yeah. You've got more space. So I think a limited thing where you have a stage set up and you've got a nice lawn and then you have a limited number. My wife Kelly, who does yoga practice, she actually yesterday had her first in-person yoga class outdoors, socially distanced, and
Nice.
she had I think about 8 folks there in a big vacant lot that's actually in our neighborhood that's kind of well suited for it, but they had their mats out. And, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I had a. Are we allowed to talk about like science and medicine on this show?
Yes,
Oh yeah, we
please.
just started
Yeah.
it. I had a COVID antibody test this morning.
How'd it go?
It was good. My arm didn't fall off. They just took some blood. I had to have some other kind of regularly check up for my physical I did a few months ago. Just blood work my doctor wanted me to do that he always checks in on. And he made an order for the COVID test because he said, because of the timing of when I was traveling in March before all this blew up, I was in New Orleans that week. I was in New York before that, in Mexico, in Boston, and those were kind of some hot spots. And we had a little bit of minor symptoms in the family. So I don't know that. I'm not expecting much from it, and I don't even know what if you're positive. The reason I'm kind of interested is on the off chance I am positive and was asymptomatic. The exciting thing is I think you can donate plasma and possibly help some folks a lot. And I also like the idea that the more testing, the better numbers we have. The more realistic the numbers, and it's easy. I mean, it's just it's small tube. The woman who did it did such a good job. I'm so scared of needles, I just don't look. But I didn't really feel it. I was like, "Have you put it in yet?" And she's like, "Oh, it's done." And she was putting the thing on, and I was out. So, I'd highly recommend if anybody has access to that. I think I feel like it can't hurt, and I had to do it anyway. So we have a caller. What do we don't even know what to call it. Yeah. What's their name? Isaiah. And I sent Isaiah the link. So hopefully they'll come in. I don't even know. Where do we look for that? You know about this, Adam.
Oh, there they are.
Oh, come on.
There's Isaiah.
There's Isaiah. You want to put him on?
Isaiah,
what's up,
what's
Isaiah?
happening? Come on through.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello?
What's going on?
Can you hear us at all?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Yes, this is like going on the radio. When they always remember back in the day, they're like, "Turn your radio down and just listen on your telephone." I guess we got to start saying that. What's happening?
So I had a question I was wondering if you could answer.
Yes.
Shoot. Yes.
So like people talk about transcribing and like licks and like how it's supposed to help your soloing.
Yep.
But if you're just like copying and pasting licks into your soloing, is it like really improvisation?
It's a good
Like
question.
how does that help your improvisation at all?
Okay. Yes. I mean, no. That's the answer. No, if you do it as copy and paste, it does not really help your improvisation because, for whatever possibly improved vocabulary that you're going to be bringing to your story that you're telling, you're going to lose the spontaneity of improvising whatever it is that you already knew, right? So it's like you really can look at it as taking words, phrases, and sentences from somebody. If you're around somebody and like, wow, they use some really cool words in this language, I want to incorporate those. But if you just copy and paste them into how you normally talk, if I'm like, yo, Adam, what's going on? I'm feeling so magnificently eloquent today. And then I go back to my other thing. I don't have any kind of flow with it. So I would recommend, we don't think about it as copy and paste as much as actually just copy. Copy in your practice. Let the pasting come automatically. Never think about infusing your soloing with the things that you're learning from transcribing. And part of the way you can do that is to really learn at least bigger musical ideas than just licks or small phrases only from a solo. So like as opposed to, I wouldn't even play it. The classic. As opposed to taking one little idea, we're taking whole phrases, whole choruses, hopefully whole solos, so that it kind of forces us, it's almost too much to paste in, to copy and paste. We're forced to learn the whole concept, to feel the whole concept, to absorb all that stuff that's so valuable. So as long as you do that and you're patient then and let those ideas and more importantly, the bigger picture concepts like rhythmic intensity and storytelling and how you build a solo and all these things that are easier for you to paste into your style and it not sound like you're just aping somebody else, I think it works out better.
Yeah, Isaiah, it's a really important part of learning the language of improvisation, of whatever dialect of improvisation you're learning, whether that's modern jazz or bebop or whatever, because the main focus of it is playing along with the record, singing along with the solo, be able to sing it first. Don't just write it out and analyze it. Be able to sing it, be able to play along with it. You're gathering information, as some people here have commented on. One of the goals is to gather information. What would this player play over this set of chord changes? What would they play? What kind of voicing would they play over that chord? Right? That's one thing. But another and even more important thing is, how does that player play this? How is their time feel? Where are they in relation to the groove? Where's their eighth note sit? What's their dynamic level during this? Like, being able to just kind of hear it and play it back at them is a super important part of the process. So you're actually getting more on that end, and the ear training as well.
Yeah.
Of doing that, of being able to listen and figure things out on your own without writing it out, without reading it. That's another important thing. You can't be a good improviser unless you have great ears. You can have great ears unless you spend time transcribing. So I would think about it less as, I'm going to go mining for licks that I can insert into my playing, as Peter had said. But I am going to play along with the masters. I have the ability here to use my ears and be able to recreate what someone who's really good at this has done. And once you're there, that's all you need to get.
Yep. Cool. So thanks, Isaiah. You're kind of our first, well, Winston's the official first guest, but with both me and Adam being on here, you're the first guest ever. So thank you for doing that.
Great question too, Isaiah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a good one. So as promised, since we got a caller, bam.
Oh my God.
What do you know about that?
I don't
What
know
do you know about
anything.
those guys? What is wrong with those guys?
Please
What
stop.
the heck is going on?
Please
Okay.
stop that.
So text in, come on the show. We don't bite, and you get to see brilliant photos from that recording session. So we got about 9 minutes here. Man, this is going to be good for us to keep it tight.
We
We're
do
not-
go on way, way too long usually.
Yeah, we usually go on too long. So we're going to be keeping it tight. You guys got 9 minutes to come on the show. What else happened today? How was your day, man?
It was good, man. I had a live GPS that I was going to do here on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it got canceled because the gas company, Spire, decided to open up the sidewalk right in front of my studio here. And so there was just a jackhammer going for about 3 hours straight. And so I had to cancel all and any recordings. But other than that, a really, really nice day. My son has finally learned how to ride a bike. And so he was just riding his bike all day. And there's nothing better than seeing a kid like freely, pedaling as fast as they can down your street. It's the best.
Yeah, man. All right, tell him congrats. Tell him congrats. And then have you explained to him about it's just like riding a bike, you never forget? Or is it just like riding a bike, you always fall off? That's the way it was for me for a long time.
Yeah, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
So, one thing I think about riding a bike that actually, applies to music, and I do think that phrase of, you never, what is it actually? You never forget? Is that the idea? Even if you haven't ridden for a long time, once you get back on, that balancing thing, you always remember.
It's a muscle memory thing, right?
Yeah, right.
It is, and that is a real thing.
And the way I think it applies mostly to piano is like fingering, and specifically scale fingering. It could be kind of any fingering, but then you get into, I would say specifically scales. So like the memorization and learning of scales, I believe you could go months without playing them or practicing them or even thinking about them. And if you really learn them right the first time, like riding a bike, you have to really learn it or you fall down. So there's nothing like trial by fire of like, bike is either like you're scraping up your legs or you're like a punk with some training wheels. It's like one or the other. There's nothing in between. So the idea that you could learn scales in that way, I always kind of either believe that or early on, I can't remember if I was taught that, but I really find that to be true. So some of these scales that I don't necessarily hit that much, I just come back with the attitude like, yeah, it's not going to be good as if I practice it for a couple of hours, but you should never have to, if you really learn scales and the fingerings correctly, the notes and the fingerings obviously together in all keys, you should never have to come back and relearn those and go check like, wait, what is the correct fingering? You might have to get it back into your fingers, but it's there.
So it's so funny. We have a comment here from Amy, and Amy is a regular in the Daily Guided Practice session. She was just asking me about this today.
Oh, cool.
Like about, I'm not picking these voicings up as quickly as I like, and I feel like I have to spend so much time on them, and I don't want to, I don't want to move on without them, and And so I was just saying, like, I don't really know what to tell you as far as like when you should move on and what you should be doing. It's kind of something that you have to just kind of feel out. But I did say, like, don't worry about not getting everything this
Yeah.
first go around, like, and what really is retained will be there, when we come back to it, and you're going to learn it even better the next time, So,
Right.
yeah.
What's up, Luke? Luke says congrats on the bike riding. I'm assuming he's talking to me, right? Because I was talking about my bike riding. Possibly not, though. I did ride a little bike. I think your bike is here in the studio. Is that possible, Adam? Or did you come get
It
it?
was for many months because
Okay.
I brought it in to ride around Grand Center, and then it got two flat tires, and so it is now here where I fixed it, and I use it on the regular.
It was cool with the one flat tire, but the two pushed you over the edge.
They both went at the same time, man.
Man, I drove by a bike store today, and you know that one over on Big Ben by Fardy? Man, there was a line of people. Like the new thing. I mean, you see the social distance line. People lined up in front of Trader Joe's or Schnucks or whatever because they're at capacity and 6 feet. Boom, boom, boom. There was a social distance line at that bike store. So there are people out there biking for sure.
This was at Mesa Bikes, probably, which is right
Is that
there.
it? I think so. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, man. Well, it's beautiful weather out for biking. That's the thing. That's when it all happens.
Apparently, it is not beautiful weather for people to call in and be on the show outside of Isaiah. And
Well,
Winston
dude, there's
the
a
other-
huge controversial comment war going on about the Beatles.
I
somehow.
kind of, I see that out of the corner of my eye, but I want them to come on and engage. How about, we can't have two people on, can we?
I'm not gonna let anybody come here and badmouth the Beatles.
No,
That's
but we
not
could
gonna
discuss it. There's nothing wrong with lively discussion. We got 4 minutes, so if somebody wants to come on, let's do that. Yeah. So the question about the hearing about any gigs, I would just ask everybody else: is anybody else hearing about gigs at all? Obviously, beyond. Or the other thing is, like, what are your favorite online gigs that you've seen during this time period? Because I want to kind of catch them while we still can. I think no, not at all. I'm going to throw one out there. I don't know. Have you seen the Monday night Emmett Cohen trio?
Yeah.
That's been consistently good, I have to
very,
say. I
very
haven't caught it
good.
every week, but I've been catching that with Russell Hall on bass, one of my favorite of the young, mid-young bass players, and Kyle Poole, love his drumming. I was a little disappointed they were doing some horrible social distancing those first weeks, all these weeks, but whatever. I guess they're young, they figured. But I mean, that's been a really nice thing. Good sound, good video, but most importantly, just great playing,
Here's one last question we can take. We have 3 minutes left. Any tips on transcribing big band music? I haven't actually done, and I don't know how much you've done either, Peter. I haven't done a ton of transcribing big band music, but I've done some orchestra work, which is even more immense,
Yeah.
And I will say this: if you can do, this is from Nick here, I'll leave that up.
Yeah.
Nick, if you can do a fair amount of score study on big bands, if you can get your hands on some PDFs of some famous scores that you can follow along with the records, that you can kind of break down how things are voiced, and you understand some of the language of that arranging, just like when you know some piano voicings, like some basic piano voicings, it makes it easier to transcribe, piano chords and voicings. If you understand some of the basic arranging principles that might be applied to big band playing, then you're going to be just faster at it. So I would spend a lot of time now doing transcribing for sure, but to help with that, get some scores. I mean, you can find free scores online even, or very, very affordable scores for just a few dollars in PDF form, and then listen to the recordings and follow along with the score. See how the arranger voiced everything out. See how they inserted counter melodies. That's like the fastest way to learn any of this stuff. It worked wonders. Someone had me do that for orchestras, and it was you just learn so fast about what they're doing,
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And for the specific thing of transcribing big band music, and I'm trying to remember when I did that. I definitely did it. And that's hard. I mean, like, you can really spend, if you want to try to nail every instrument, but doing what Adam just said, studying the scores, if you study, like, say, Duke Ellington is an obvious choice and a great choice if you're going to just pick one. Thad Jones, I mean, so many great folks. But take your favorite or what you're looking to transcribe, study the scores, and then start to learn that style so that when you go to transcribe, you can kind of guess what's happening with some of the voicings. It's the same thing like learning McCoy Tyner. Like, once you learn some of his simpler, which there isn't a lot of simple to transcribe, but you can build up knowing that there's a style and there's a vocabulary that they're building from as they go.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody. This is our inaugural. What are we calling this thing?
Well, I mean, you'll hear it live, AM in the PM. You know, we're not sure.
AM in the PM.
We're not that organized. We're not that dogmatic. But you know what? We do like to give the people what they want. Come on now.
Oh,
So
no.
this gives you a better idea about, this is not realistic for our height, I don't think.
Shoot.
Am I 2 inches taller than you, or am I
No, Joe asked
6
how big
inches
is that?
shorter?
Joe asked, how big is that box?
Oh, that's what. Oh, you saw that. Joe, hilarious guy, Joe. Yeah, this gives you a better sense of. Actually, you know what? This is more realistic. I would say.
That's how we usually spend our time.
That's right.
together.
That's how we do it. So, how about this? Until tomorrow,
You'll hear it.
you'll hear it.
Okay.